So I made it to Fiji. I have to apologize for not putting out a video. I made it to Fiji. The last few days was a bit of a struggle. But when I got to Fiji, I flew home for Thanksgiving to spend some time with the family, and I completely forgot my SD cards with all the footage on it. So I started to put together a video on the boat, about getting the boat and a little bit of the history of the boat. So that is what I'm going to do here, is kind of go through that. I don't have a ton of information on the history. I know the names, I know about the main race, the Brisbane, the Gladstone, that it did so well at, but let me show you what I've got. So as said before, her original name was Raw Nerve. That's the name she raced under back in the day, from 2000 to around 2007, 2008. Her most notable accomplishment was the Brisbane to Gladstone race. She won Lion Honours 5 times, starting in 2000, and then she won 4 years in a row from 2004 to 2007. 2004 is the year she actually broke the record for fastest time, which was actually held by her sister ship Rontadu, set in 2001. Her time of 18 hours and 55 minutes at an average of over 16 knots. That time held until 2012, where she was beaten by nothing less than a Norma 60. I was actually given a copy of the 2006 Multi-Hull World, which talked about her winning 3 times in a row. And then she went and won the next year too. She also had her fair share of incidents. On the way to the 2002 Brisbane to Gladstone, she lost her mast. I believe in 2001 there was an incident where she basically kind of split in half, as the picture shows. But after that, she was completely rebuilt, from what I'm told. She seems pretty solid now. Haven't had any issues. Other than that, I'm not quite sure about the racing history, but she then became Windswept 2, a bit of a cruising boat, which I saw 7 years ago and thought was an amazing boat that I'd love to own someday. And then last year, I saw this video of this boat called Van Dijk's, which obviously was Windswept 2. And next thing you know, I'm flying to Australia. Once I got to Australia, I looked at the boat, took a very quick look at the boat. Maybe what you would call a little too quick of a look at the boat. But I got a survey, a good survey, though I probably should have got a little bit more in depth with the boat. Maybe a rig survey, maybe dug into things a little bit more. But it was what it was, and I bought the boat. She had a little bit of damage on one hull, which I thought was superficial. Ended up being a little bit more in-depth than I thought. But I had that fixed. The guy that did the repairs did an amazing job at matching the paint. Right now, if you looked at the boat, you'd be hard-pressed to find out where the repairs were done. And at the same time, I had some new bottom paint done. Australia happened to have a once-in-a-25-year cyclone. Luckily, it wasn't as bad as it could have been, and the boatyard did a phenomenal job at strapping the boat down with concrete blocks and The boat was in perfectly fine shape with no real damage. A little bit of water inside, but it wasn't too bad. It can handle getting a little wet. I mean, there are drain holes in the floor inside the cabin. Then we had to get rid of that horrible blue on the cabin. You can see the purple underneath from when it used to be windswept. Once I got everything painted, the new name put on, she looked pretty good, I thought. The next thing we needed to do was replace the motors. It had a set of old raw water cooled Yanmars that needed some help. So then we have the old motors. They look rough. So we take the old motors out. Unfortunately, at this point, I was terrible at taking videos, but here's the new motor when it was mostly in. Then it was finally time for it to go in the water. Slowly but surely, she made her way into the water. If this boat was 6 inches wider, I don't think it would have fit down the boat ramp. It was a very tight fit. I wish I had gotten some better pictures of that, but I was impressed with the crew there. And then, not even 24 hours in the water, I got hit by a powerboat that couldn't control itself through the current of the river there. Now it was time to take her sailing. I had just gotten a new Genoa and it looked pretty good. And I had a few people tell me the mainsail was in rough shape. And I thought maybe I could get away with it. Yeah, it's in rough shape. And it also was a little bit too long for that mast. It was definitely an older mainsail from a former rig. But she moved her along pretty well, even with that crappy old main. But after that sail, I decided, yeah, I should get a new mainsail. So, a couple more months go by, and we have a new mainsail. So now with the new main, jib, and Genoa, we're getting pretty close to ready to get going, start cruising. Of course, I had to get myself a new tender, and why not go with the best? After a few more repairs and getting the boat relatively straightened out, it was time to head north along the Australian coast. And the first stop was Lady Musgrave Island. Thanks for watching the video to the end. If you could like, subscribe, leave a comment, that'd be great. Right now I've got plenty of footage to do some more videos. Unfortunately, I had a few setbacks in the last month, but I should get back onto it. And right now I'm in Fiji, just waiting for the right weather window for the next passage, or maybe just exploring Fiji a bit. But thanks again for watching the video.